Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 5th of July. So today is Independence Day in the US, which means the cash markets will be closed today. Some of the futures markets will be open for limited trading hours, but liquidity will be particularly light. So just be aware of that if you are aiming to trade any of those futures markets, US futures markets today. In other news, there is no agreement so far with the OPEC Plus meetings last week on oil production going forward on the quantities. So there's a disagreement between Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Further discussions are taking place today. So again, oil is likely to remain in focus. It's also likely to be particularly volatile until those agreements are finalized. So let's take a look at a few markets here that we are keeping an eye on for our trading opportunities at the beginning of this week. Now the first one is silver. Now silver, we've had silver on our watch list here and had trading opportunities on this for a few weeks now. The market has sort of turned around. We've seen this sort of big sell-off and the support here at 26, and we were looking for a move back up to retest that $27 level here on silver. Now last week we had the set up here, the trading window that we talked about between 26.40 and 26.700. Now the market had actually completed that last week. It took until the end of the week for this to do this in this last tail end of the week rally after the pullback. But nevertheless, we're at 26.700 now. The next trading window here is up to that round number of $27 a barrel, $27 an ounce. So we've got a decent sized trading window there above price. Otherwise, index or the structures here of these markets are looking good. We've got good convergence on the indicators. If anything, a little bit overextended here on these sort of mid to lower time frames. So what I'm looking for is a little bit of a pullback here and then looking for a decisive breakthrough. If we don't get that and we just get a break through the 26,700 level, then I'll be looking for some sort of pullback and then a reconfirmation. So if we come down to these lower time frames, for example, we can see the good trend structure that we've got here. We'll maybe look for a breakout, a pullback to retest the 27,600 area, and then look for a sort of a move higher from there. At this moment in time, the lower time frames are indicating a deeper pullback. So we've got divergence sort of starting to creep in here as the markets continuing to press up against that 26,700 price point. The next one, if we come and take a look at another metal here, and this is copper. So again, copper's been of quite interest actually over the past couple of weeks, and the reason being is that the weekly chart has pulled back in to fair value area, and then we've had some bullish momentum starting to come back into the market since then. So we had this bullish candle a couple of weeks ago. We then had an inside candle, doji candle last week, and now this week we've started to get a break above the high here. So the weekly chart is looking like we're getting a weekly play and a continuation of the trend, putting in the market now putting in a higher low. So the next, well, for this trend to continue, the market needs to make a new high, and this is a reasonable distance to the long side, a very nice distance in fact, for trading opportunities. You can see here on the monthly chart in fact that we've even starting to set up a rather sort of decent looking structure on the monthly chart too. So again, if we come down to the 4-hour chart and take a look on the 4-hour, you can see that the market has now broken out of a range where we've had significant resistance in the past. We'll just sort of pull back on this, and you can see that the context of this level. So going forward from here, setups above 43, above this sort of level, 43 sort of 400 is the sort of area that we're looking at. So setups above here up to around that sort of 45 level at the moment. Even if we're starting to look at that, what I would be a little bit concerned about is this sort of level through here where we've got previous support and resistance. So that's around 443.30 you can see that we've got a bit of previous support likely to become resistance, but there's still plenty of distance here to get risk-free and get positioned. So I'm quite liking copper long, so looking for setups around this sort of area, and looking for long positions to take advantage of this weekly trend continuation, or perceived weekly trend continuation. Now if we come over to currency markets now and take a look at some of these currency markets, at the moment we've got strength in Great British Pound, we've got also a lot of strength in the yen, but I am liking the structure here of pound yen. So the yen hasn't been particularly strong market for quite some time, although it is sort of strong. We've got some strength in it today. Overall, sterling I think is looking sort of quite strong across the board. Again, if we have a look at pound yen on the weekly chart, you can see that the market's actually sort of pulled into a previous level of previous support and resistance. The market's just breaking through that area at the moment, and on the weekly chart we've also had a pullback into fair value, and the market looking like we're getting a support off this level and looking for a continuation of the trend. So as long as the market stays above this sort of 153 sort of 37 area where we've had this previous support and resistance, that should give us some good support area for this market, and we could see a continuation of this trend on the weekly chart. Now if that takes place, the price structure here on the daily time frame doesn't look too bad. We don't have trends all in alignment here, of course. We're never going to have trends across every time frame in agreement, but what we have got here on the daily time frame is significant higher lows appearing all the time. We've had a triangular formation forming right into this level where price is at the moment, so if there's likely to be this sort of triangular formation, normally indicates that we're going to get a breakout one way or the other. And bearing in mind the weekly time frame and the strength in sterling at the moment, I'm looking for a break to the long side and a continuation of the trend here. So in which case, if we come down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see here on the 4-hour that we've got this level again that we've been speaking about on the daily and the weekly chart. So taking a look here, you can see that we can get above this sort of price point. It does then start to make sense here on the 4-hour chart as well. So we've got a low, a high, a higher low. If we can get above this sort of area, we'll be then pushing on to make a new high as well. So liking Great British Pound against the yen for long opportunities. In fact, Great British Pound markets across the board are looking quite strong at the moment. And another one that I'm liking is Great British Pound against the Swissy as well. So price structure from a technical perspective not looking quite so clean on pound Swissy, but we've got full strengths and weaknesses supporting the pound Swissy to the long side at the moment. So that's where we are at the moment. I certainly hope it helps, and look forward to speaking to you next week. Bye for now.